Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I made a video with Edward Snowden being granted by Vladimir Putin Russian citizenship. He kept his US citizenship, but he's got the Russian one. And not only he's got it, it seems like his ex-wife, girlfriend, the mother of his child or children now will be or are granted the same Russian citizenship. Now, Snowden answers Putin, after he was granted the citizenship. So this article comes from The Hill from September 27, 2022. Snowden responds to Putin approval of Russian citizenship. Former National Security Agency contractor Edward Snowden, who fled the US in 2013 after leaking classified information about US government surveillance programs, responded on Monday to his newly granted Russian citizenship, which he received as the result of a decree from Russian President Vladimir Putin. Snowden, charged with espionage in the US, has been living in exile in Moscow for nearly a decade to avoid prosecution, now joined by his wife, Lindsay Mills, and their two children. The other article, when he was granted the Russian citizenship, it said that she's not his wife, and I was like thinking, oh, they were together, not his wife, girlfriend. All right, and now I'm reading what Snowden said. After years of separation from our parents, my wife and I have no desire to be separated from our son, Snowden wrote in 2020 after the birth of their first child. And I'm quoting again, "That's why in this area of pandemics and closed borders, we're applying for dual US-Russian citizenship." Snowden, so that was in 2020. Snowden has said in 2019 that he ultimately wanted to return to the US if the government guaranteed him a fair trial. Don't do it. But he requested an extended residency permit in the early 2020 and applied for Russian citizenship later that year. Putin granted citizenship to 75 foreigners in a new decree Monday. The Russian president's move comes in the wake of a controversial partial mobilization order that would call up thousands of Russians from military reserves to fight in the ongoing war in Ukraine, and a week after Putin threatened to use the nuclear weapons in the conflict. Now, Snowden will not be taken into European Russian military. He was not going to be mobilized because he was not in the army, in the Russian army. This is what another article said. Now that is what he says. This is the answer. Did you see any answers here? Did you see any response? I didn't see any response. Did you see any response here? After years of separations, Oh, you know what? I jumped a paragraph. Boom. So let me read you that one. After years of separation from our parents, my wife and I have no desire to be separated from our sons after 2 years of waiting and nearly 10 years of exile. A little stability will make a difference for my family. I pray for privacy for them and for us, Snowden wrote on Twitter. I missed the whole paragraph. Getting old. So after years of separation from our parents, but the other one was the same, but it was our son. That was in 2020, and this was in right now. After years of separations, I thought it was next paragraph, but they're one after another. After years of separation for our parents, my wife and I have no desire to be separated from our sons. So in the meantime, they got another one. After 2 years of waiting and nearly 10 years of exile, a little stability will make a difference for my family. I pray for privacy for them and for us, Snowden wrote. Okay, now we got it. Whew, I was like, what? I knew it was somewhere, I know it was sons, and somewhere it was son. And I could read the sun. I said, well, where's the sons? And then I said, let me go back. Something happened here. Yeah, it happened in my little... all right, so whatever you might think about Snowden, due to him, we know more about this surveillance state that we are in. And this is something that's ridiculous. I don't think it's funny. I wanted to use funny, but it's not. It's the fact that we are told before we come here, if we come to the United States or when we are overseas, that this is the freest country in the world. And then you read all that, you know, the Bill of Rights and how many freedoms you got, and they're right in the Constitution, and how free people are, and it's an illusion. You are here in the United States of America, more controlled, more supervised, more monitored as we speak right now, from the authorities, for people that are not accountable to anybody, or at least not to you or to me. That's nobody else. They know where your money goes, where your money comes from, what you do, what you talk, what the emails you send, everything. And that's partly because of Snowden. He spoke all that out and said, this is how it works. NSA and so on. Now, in a country like Pakistan, or not Pakistan, Afghanistan, I'm not, how should I say, I'm not saying that we should go to Afghanistan or something. But in Afghanistan, where it's cash, the government doesn't know where the money comes, where the money goes. They don't listen to you. They don't hear to American listen to you or something. But it's different. Where I come from a communist country, right? Then in the 80s, when it was a communist, socialist with a communist, it was, a security state, more or less. You could have done so many hanky-panky. Not only to talk, not only what connections, the moves. This thing that we all have it, tracks everything you do. This, click, 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 whatever you entered, whatever you sent, whatever you received, wherever you are, the time, all that. And it's not only that, this as well. Try to make a bank transfer. Where do you get your money? How do you get? I'm not saying you should do hanky-panky, but that's not the government's, should not know everything you do. Every little thing, every receipt, everything you do with your cash. There's a way to find it. And in the communists, because of the low technology at that time, technological advancement at that time, it was much less monitoring. So due to Snowden, you know exactly how the extent that he knows, because it's much more, obviously, but as much as he knows, he told us. And for that, I'm grateful. It's not because I didn't hint those or I had other informations, but someone say, you know what, I've been there, I've done that, this is the way it goes. I mean, that destroyed any other argument. That opened the door of knowledge, or not knowledge, but as a witness who was involved in that. As I said, I don't talk about defending whatever he did that, even though Glenn Greenwald, fantastic guy, he explained many times how they released the information and how it was encoded and all that, and these guys are still saying he delivered that, he released this, he released that. I'm not going to get into that. It's pro and con, whatever. For my personal interest and for the society, we know much more how we are monitored. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.